Hey y'all, I'm Byron, and this is Margaret. We're the hosts of the Beyond I Do podcast. This video is an extension of a segment we call Let's Discuss It.
On the episode, we discussed a story from 2019 where a child had gotten in trouble and the mom decided that she would go to school with the child. This little girl was in 8th grade at the time. There was also another article that we discussed from 2019 that talked about different situations where kids had gotten in trouble and how their parents disciplined them and then posted on social media. So the discussion is about shaming children on social media because of discipline problems. So, a little background about the story from 2019. There was a mom, and her daughter in 8th grade at the time had had some behavior problems. And so her mom decided she would go and attend school that day. And she had a t-shirt that she made that said, "I'm here because my child won't behave." And she went around the school that day with her daughter and went to each class. One thing, as a teacher, I applaud the parent because I know a lot of times if you reach out to a parent regarding behavior, I've been asked, well, what did you do? So I applaud the parent for putting forth the effort to make sure she's doing her part and to see exactly what's going on with her daughter. So, interestingly, she also had a list of takeaways from that particular visit. Some of them included noting that the kids in general, there was a lot of behavioral issues. That's not how she worded it, but
These kids bad as hell. That's how she
that's
put
what
it.
she said.
That's how she put
That's
it.
what she said. She talked about the kids being disrespectful. She also pointed out the lunch is horrible and all these things. But at the core of it was the type of discipline. So the article talks about different situations where one of which was a little girl who got in trouble for bullying on the bus. And so she got put off the bus. So her dad's discipline was to have her walk to school. And he followed behind her in the car. And he went on Facebook Live and posted, this is what happens when you don't behave. And the article goes on and gives a couple of other scenarios, but then it states how basically the discipline is not the problem, it's the posting and public shaming. So, what are your thoughts? Have we ever posted and publicly shamed
No.
any of our crew?
No. See, to me, that just shows the dysfunction of the parent in the matter that, like we've done certain things, but I didn't think about pulling my phone out, posting it on social media. The posts on the social media are for your friends and people. Because,
Right.
I mean, I could never think of myself pulling up a video of somebody doing something, be like, look what this parent made this child do. See. So I mean, it's like you're doing that for likes, and you're doing that to go viral. To me, I mean,
And see, I see it. I think that some of it is just you get desperate, and I know
yeah,
that we've had some issues where you just feel like, what else can I do? And maybe they felt like, well, at least if I embarrass him or if I embarrass her, maybe that'll help. Maybe that'll be a wake up call. But we discussed this earlier with our 21-year-old, and you brought up a different perspective that I didn't think about. You talked about how the child would feel in the moment.
Yeah, and that's like, my thought process is, I know we tend to think of it from, okay, the parent is disciplining this child, and the parent is embarrassing him, but that eventually that child does have those feelings, regardless of how much of a behavior problem they were. So like, what are they feeling in that moment?
Mm-hmm.
How do you know? Like, this could be the thing that determines the relationship between that child and that parent, because they're like, my dad embarrassed me on social media. I can't let that go.
You had a public shaming incident. I just thought about that, didn't you?
Yeah, I sure did. Look here, let me tell you something. I am glad that let's see, that would have been 80. That was probably 87. 86, 87. I'm glad we ain't had cell phones. And I'm glad we ain't had, boy, look here. I tell you, I go ahead and share this. My daddy. Boy, look here. Now, me and this boy, we was in class drawing, we was drawing nasty pictures. And like the teacher had the classroom set up, so we was on one side of the classroom. I was on the other side, and then it was like the walkway in between the desks. So he was like probably I say 8 to 10 feet in front of me. So I'm drawing a picture, and then I hold it up to him. And he draw his picture and hold it up to me. So, and this was quote unquote my friend, right? Learning them lessons in life. But so I drew one picture, and then I held it up, and he said, Miss Faye, Byron drawing dirty pictures in class. So I was up there like, this joker just sold me out. This supposed to be my best friend, right? So Miss Fame got the doggone notebook, saw the picture. Now, Miss Fame probably would have just sent me to the office, but now the teacher next door, which was my homeroom teacher, her and my daddy had kind of created a bond. The bond, yeah. So, leave that class. We go to gym. Get back from gym. My homeroom teacher is like, oh, yes, sir, buddy. Drawing nasty. Now, she ain't like, now, probably some of this is public shaming too, but she didn't like, pull me to the side and was like, your daddy coming to school. She said that in front of the whole class. Yeah. Like, yep, so your dad is coming, buddy. She said, yep, your dad is coming. So I'm like, man, what the heck? So, I'm nervous. I'm like, my daddy coming. What is this joke gonna do? So, next thing you know, I'm looking at the door and here come daddy. So, come here. I get up. Right in the hallway. Y'all, let me tell you something. The teacher that classroom, like my home classroom, then was the teacher's classroom, and then the bathrooms was right there, right? So my dad was like, drawing these dirty pictures in class? You drawing this? Got some for this shit. So, where the bathroom at? I'm like, God. So I lied, and I told him the bathroom was all the way on the other end of the hall. He said, that's all right. Come on. I just show you a different time. Now, I'm probably telling an abuse story, but my daddy dead and gone, so ain't nothing to be done about this. But anyway, so he ain't got to go to the office and check me out. We just walked to the car. We walked to the car, drove from school to the house. It was probably like 10, 15 minutes. He cussed me out all the way there. We get to the house. I get the beating of my lifetime. I'm talking about, man, I'll go back to school with the scar down my head, lip swole because I grabbed the belt. I don't know. I was in sixth grade. Yeah, it was terrible, The day standards, Dad would have been locked up, but, this is 87. So, get back in the car. Dad bring me back to school, y'all. Bring me back to school. Walk me into the classroom. By this time, class had changed. It was those. Walk me back to the classroom. We stood in front of the classroom. And my daddy said, this what happened when you draw naked pictures in front of in class. And left. Now, them little kids with the getting followed behind and the t-shirt, all that stuff, I would have welcomed that. Okay.
But the question is, did you draw naked pictures in class anymore?
Not anymore.
There you go.
I learned my lesson.
Yes, you did.
But that, that was the 87 raising. But, that was a very traumatic experience in all reality. But I didn't fault my dad for that. I mean, he was doing the best he knew how at the time.
Yep.
So, I mean, but publicly shaming, it does have an effect. Because, of course, I got picked on. The kids, oh, yeah, you got your ass tore up, blah, blah, blah. I had the welt, the welt going down the side of my face. And, but I did get a little bit of sympathy because it was this girl that I liked, right? And I sit up in front of the class. She held my hand. And I let her hold my hand. My hand was hurting. My hand was hurting, y'all. I had a little swollenness to it. But yeah, anyway. So let's back to the subject at hand.
I'm sorry, my bad.
But I'm cool with it. We've talked about this before, but the public shaming. Now had that been online for people to say, oh, remember the video when the dude was on Facebook and the dad said, Facebook that.
It was his uncle.
Nephew,
he
yeah.
said, Facebook that. We don't come from that. In fact, that's one of our family phrases. We don't come from that.
Yeah.
That's where we get that from. We don't come from that.
Now, that being online, going viral. Now, I'm sure that child is probably grown. Hopefully, he's not doing what he did. He's like, I can imagine him being like, I can imagine me in my day and age. One of my boys pull up the phone and be like, hey, dog, you remember this?
They still be doing it.
Remember your daddy beat you?
They still be doing it, yeah. I agree. Now, as a teacher, like I said, I did, and I think I came from the perspective of the teacher and as a parent. And I know that like I can deal with a lot of things, but I don't do well with disrespect from my students. Yeah. And so the idea of a parent being supportive and understanding, because you have some people who, they'll not my kid, or they swear up and down that their kid wouldn't do X, Y, or Z. But I promise you that if you could see some of the things that your students do and say when you're not around, you would be shocked. And so just the support from parents, and parents who know their child and understand that, you could think your kid, but you just never know what they'll do.
And I could say this, like growing up where I grew up, the neighborhood I grew up in, I had a lot of friends. We traveled throughout, school together, elementary school, middle school, high school. So, people be like, well, where you get that from? I got stuff from my friends' parents. I had some friends that they were single parent. They were in a single parent home, so it was like a brother and sister. I got stuff from one of my friends' sisters. I got stuff from one of my friends' uncles. So it wasn't, people tend to ask that question, like, where you think this child got this from? They pick it up from everybody. Mm-hmm. So it's not like,
from their friends,
cousins, uncles. They pick stuff up from everybody.
And kids today, they're just different. You add on top of that, you talked about the people that you could see, but you add on top of that now social media, and they have the whole World Wide Web at their fingertips.
Yep.
And it just, when I see things about banning books or wanting to change curriculum, it's always funny to me, because if these kids have cell phones, they have everything at their fingertips.
Yeah, they do.
So I'm just pleased to see that there are parents who understand your kids will make choices that will surprise you, and they're willing to do something to give some type of consequence. Now, coming from the perspective of the child being shamed, then now I see, okay, you do have to think about those things, but I don't know. It's
I think as long as it's within the confines of, okay, my daughter gets suspended from the bus. All right, I'm following her on the bus. I'm gonna record it, but I'm not gonna post it on
Right,
Facebook.
right.
That's like, for me to show her later. For me, it's a moment that me and her can look back and laugh at if I save the video or whatever. But
Right.
posting on social media I don't think that's a great idea. It's like, because at some point in time that child may have some type of resentment. They can be reminded of it 10 years from now.
Yeah.
And then you have this reaction and then you're trying to figure as a parent, like, where did this come from?
Right.
And they're gonna tell you. They're gonna tell you, like, they might not be able to express it to you then, but when they grow up and they become adults, they're gonna tell you.
I just
I ain't like the way you did this.
When we were growing up, and honestly, I think when we were younger, it was where you act up is where I show out. It didn't matter. I know. Oh my God, I only did it a couple of times, but in the department store, I'm hiding underneath the clothes rack.
Oh yeah.
And then my mom can't find me, and all of a sudden I feel an arm yanking me from under the rack, and then I feel something else hitting me. And that was perfectly acceptable back then. But at the same time, things are different, and we understand that kids are different and how those things play out in their life. So
yeah.
I'm all for a natural consequence. Definitely letting your children understand that there are consequences to their actions. But as far as, and then, I mean, to some extent, to be very honest, the posting part would bring some embarrassment and shame for me.
Yeah.
Because I may not want you to know that my child has gotten in trouble multiple times on the bus. That might be embarrassing for me.
In that comment section, somebody was like, well, what kind of parent are you? So I mean, I don't know. It's touchy. Look, there is no book.
Nope. Well, there are books.
There are books,
but none of that.
Everything does not pertain to every
child is different.
Everything does not pertain to every child. So it's like,
every child is different. Yeah. Everything is perceived differently from different people. So within our home, we at one point we had all the kids at home, plus one of the god kids. So we had a house full. Yeah. And the way that they perceived things it would blow my mind. Like, they would, well, one is getting more attention than the other. Well, that one is younger and we don't have a choice. We have to do more things for that one. So hopefully as they get older, they can look back on those things and realize that nothing was done to intentionally harm, that what we're doing is with good intention at the time, but it just doesn't always work out that way.
Yeah, unfortunately it doesn't. But, I guess, at the end of the day, as a parent, try to figure out ways to discipline as best possible, but, I don't think embarrassing social media is beneficial for you or the child.
And understand that it's not just your child. You're not just going through it. That it's the kids are just different. Kids are different. So any type of support that you have, friends, relatives, what have you, that you can just say, look, let me tell you what she did this time. I don't know what to do. I'm at my wit's end. Our pediatrician was wonderful, and we were lucky enough to find her before we adopted, but she ended up adopting 2 children, I believe. And so even going through the adoption, she was a support system for us in terms of dealing with adopted, a child that's adopted. So, looking for those support systems and things. And honestly, as an educator, reach out to the teacher and let the teacher know, look, I understand it and I'm sorry. What do you suggest? What can we do to work together? Because a lot of times the teacher feels like the parent is going to side with the kids, so there's no need to even to reach out and make that move, or the parent is going to make an excuse. And so it just, if you let the teacher know, I'm on your side. We used to do that with one of ours. We would go in open house and let that particular child's teacher know, look, if you need anything, let us know. Sometimes things are perceived differently by this one, so just let us know.
Just let me know.
Our kids, thankfully, very respectful, very compassionate and kind human beings. So a lot of times their behaviors could be overlooked. They were smart kids. So those types of things, we just let the teachers know ahead of time, we're in this together.
Look, you know your kids, and you know what they're capable of. And I think for a lot of times, sometimes when you hear parents be like, well, they ain't in my son, I think that's like an embarrassing reaction, because they're embarrassed, like sometimes that their child did this. I know, but
sometimes they really believe that.
But I mean, come on, I don't put nothing like putting anything. I just remember some of the stuff that I knew at a young age. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I would get information from friends, I'll get information from other kids. So it's like, so to believe that your child is not capable of something, and then you're asking, well, where do you think where he got it from? He got it from home. If he didn't get it from your home, he got it from somebody else's home.
And now you can get it from
now you can get it from the World Wide
Web. Across the
they
globe,
getting it from Snapchat, they getting it from TikTok, they getting it from everywhere. So I mean, they don't even worry about where they got it from. Just try to, explain to them, if it's something negative, let them know that, nah, that ain't what you do in class. That's not what you do in school, But don't be acting like, it's beyond them to do something like that.
And for us, with me being a teacher, my kids knew if I get a phone call, email, text, message, what have you, about behavior, it's another story when we get home. Because I am somewhere with other people's kids, and you don't want other people's kids treating me bad, so I don't want you treating somebody else's mom bad either. So that was one thing, but like I said, we didn't have a lot of not major
stuff.
Until we did.
Our kids, most of the stuff was stuff they did at home. So the school, it was like stuff they did at home or around that area, but it wasn't as much as school as But
all right, so what do you think? Public shaming online, is that a no? Or, I mean, did they sign up for it?
Yeah.
You do the crime, you do the time. Let us know your thoughts and comments about the subject. Let us know your thoughts and comments about the video, and make sure and check out the Beyond I Do podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts.
And be sure to like and subscribe and share to your friends and family.
Yes.
Until next time, we will holler at y'all.